Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd Online shop, and my plan is to do a double page 6x8 process video and project share. So it's not my typical video. I'm going to be doing an insert in my 6x8 Summer Stories album, and it's a quick, easy, and super fun project. The project is especially fun for people who enjoy crafting, lack time, but would love to complete an album. Here's the secret to success. The album has to be small, and I mean physically small. That makes the pages quick to create, and it takes almost no material. You can even use scraps. And two, you have to let go of perfection and really enjoy the creative time you gift yourself. Pages like this should take 30 minutes or less to create. And I'll talk more about my approach at the end of the video when I share what I've created so far in this album. Now, before starting, I want to show you the material that I have. So I have this really beautiful 6x8 album from 49 in Market. This one here comes in two colors. And the Scrapbook Nerd also has a bunch of smaller albums, including 4x4 albums. They are really cute. I also have paper, ephemera, and stickers from the 49 in Market Vintage Artistry Anywhere collection. And I have paper from Tim Holtz. And I got all of this at the Scrapbook Nerd online shop. So I will link up the shop as well as the products I use in the description box below. So on my desk, you're going to see I've selected my paper. I have some paper there from the 49 in Market collection. I also have that floral paper there. That one there is actually from Tim Holtz, but it works really well with 49 in Market, the nice distressed look. The 49 in Market has a 6x8 paper pack, and in it there are 4 sheets of punch outs like ephemera pieces. I have alphas from Pink Fresh Studio from my stash. I have a tray, that's where all the ephemera is, and I have 3 photos. So I have a 6x8 photo as well as 2 wallet size ones. So what I'm doing right now is pulling out 2 page protectors from the album. So basically I've done the pages before and after, so I'm kind of filling in a blank spot here today. And you can see that the page protectors are 2 different sizes. I have a 6x8 and a 4x8, and I really love that about this album. They have really fun size page protectors. So you can kind of see the 6x8 photo is going to fill up one of the page protectors, but I do have fun with that photo a little bit later on. However, most of my time is going to be on that 4x8 page. So what I'm going to be creating is an interactive pocket page. So I'm starting by cutting down this paper to 4x8, and then what I'm going to do is cut myself 2 blocks of paper. Those are going to be 4x4 each, and then in a moment what you're going to see me do is come in with a ruler, and all I'm doing on one side of the block, I'm making a mark, or I will be making a mark 1 inch down. And then what I'll do is for each one of those 4-inch blocks, which will be pockets, I'm going to cut an angle. And the reason why I'm measuring with my ruler 1 inch down is that I want the angles to be identical, even though they will be coming from different directions, and you'll see what I mean when I place the pockets on that 4x8 page. This is the most difficult part of this entire project I'm showing you now, and this is probably the most complicated page that will be in this album. Like I said, the idea to complete an album like this, to actually succeed in completing it kind of hassle-free, is to really keep the pages simple. Once I've finished cutting down these pockets, what I'm going to do is get out a really heavy-duty adhesive, put adhesive on 3 sides so that I can create a pocket, and then adhere them to the page. I'm going to kind of stagger them, so you're going to see that blue pocket in the middle is part way up, and then the brown one is flush with the bottom. Now the adhesive I'm using is super duper heavy duty, and that's because pockets are interactive. I'm going to be slipping things in the pockets and out of them, so I really want those pockets to stick really, really well on the page. I use it for all interactive elements on scrapbook pages and cards. It works really, really well. Anyway, once I do this, what I'm going to do is create tags, and I'm going to be tucking tags into these pockets. One of them is going to be for journaling, and the other one I'm going to be adding photos to it. So I'm showing you the photos there. Like I said, I have a 6x8 photo as well as 2 wallet size photos. Now before working with those, however, I do want to cut out 2 tags. I'm using a die from Tim Holtz. Tags, however, are really super easy to create. All it is a strip of paper. You angle the corners on one end and punch a hole in the middle. In a moment, what I'm going to do is make reinforcers. And for this one, I do have a die for it. However, I make reinforcers for tags all the time, simply with a small hole punch and a 1/2 inch circle punch. You first punch out the hole, then you punch out the circle, and it creates a ring. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to adhere it to the top of each one of those tags, and then I will continue creating. You're going to see I end up putting a small photo on one of the tags. That's going to be the tag that goes on the bottom pocket. And the pocket that goes on top, that will be eventually where my journaling goes. And my journaling in this case is going to be the recipe for those burgers that you see on the page. That's because this story is about our first barbecue of the season using our new smoker grill. Anyway, this album has different kinds of stories than my typical 12x12 album. My 12x12 album is more event-based, bigger stories, but this small album here is just kind of small, close to home stories, but it will end up being a very fun project, and I'll talk about that later on because I have done something similar before. You can see I cut down that photo there that goes on the tag. That one's about 2¼ inch by 2¼ inch. The photo at the bottom there, what I'm going to do is pull out a piece of ephemera. That was actually a piece of ephemera that was part of that 6x8 paper pack that came with this Anywhere collection by 49 in Market. So what I'm going to do is simply add that frame on top of that wallet size photo, and it's just going to add a bit of contrast. You're going to notice for these pages there is almost no embellishing. I will put a little bit on with the title, but that is the beauty of working with these small pages. You really don't have much room for anything, which makes them very quick to complete. Anyway, like I mentioned earlier, the idea, especially if you don't have much time, is to make quick pages. So I'm showing you the alphas there. Those are from Pink Fresh Studio. I just pulled them from my stash, and you can see I have 2 titles on leftover packaging from scrapbooking products. Actually, I didn't throw it out. I placed So Delicious on one of them so I could play around with placement, and First Barbecue on another. You also saw me round the corners of that photo. That's because the page that comes after that had rounded corners, so I just wanted it to match it, and it really does have a nice look in the album. So what I'm doing there is looking for a few pieces of ephemera to kind of beef up that title that I'm putting right directly on top of that 6x8 photo. It says So Delicious. Again, I want this to be quick. If I were fussy, I could have gone and found myself some foodie related embellishments or created my own, but instead I just pulled out a couple tabs and tickets from the ephemera pack, adding it to the title just to beef it up a bit, and I'm happy with it. When I create this type of small album project that I want to put together quickly, I really let go of perfection, and I'm just having fun playing with the products that I have on hand, and in the end, I end up really loving the book. So I'm not necessarily worried about making a perfect individual page here, but in my opinion, the overall album at the end is really, really fun. You can see I stopped the film, continued with the title on both sides. I also have First Barbecue on the left-hand page, and now I'm coming in with just a few finishing touches. I added a heart to that title on the right-hand page and popped it up on foam adhesive. I'm adding a little circle there that says right here, right now on the left-hand page. And now I'm getting some twine from Lawn Fawn and I'm just stringing it through those tags. Like I said, in a moment you are going to see that I do my journaling on that tag in the back, and that's actually going to have the recipe for those burgers. So that's going to be kind of a fun document to have for future summers actually. So I'm tucking it in the page protector and you can kind of see how it's going to look in the book. I really do like how that 4x8 page only partly covers the page before it, so you can kind of see what comes before it and what comes after it. Anyway, really kind of fun interactive look. Now I want to talk about this album here just for a moment because it's where I got my inspiration for this summer album. It's an album I created last December. It's part of Chanel's Journal Your Christmas class. And basically, for that album, pages came together really quickly. None of them were masterpieces, but the collection, the book itself, really was a masterpiece. It was a snapshot of my life last December. So that was really, really cool. And that's kind of what I'm doing here with this summer album. Now, to get my creative juices flowing, I basically started this album the same way I did for the one for Chanel's class. The first 2 pages, I called it Note to Self. Chanel called it a manifesto. It was basically my summer intentions. This one here is simply remembering the past. So I pulled out some old pictures from past summers, and then another 2 pages with some snapshots from around our home. These pages were all really easy to create, and it actually just got my creative juices flowing. Now, the rest of this book is simply going to document moments from my summer. For example, our new smoker, our first barbecue, like what I did here today. Also, you're going to see in a moment, I documented the chickens that walk around our backyard every night at supper time, because our neighbors have chickens. The idea here is that I'm documenting small stories, but they are stories from my life, from my summer. So it's really a fun project to create. And is it possible to create an album when you have absolutely no time, but you love creativity? Absolutely. Basically, the secret to success, in my opinion, is to keep it really small. I mean, physically small, so that the pages are quick and easy to create. Also, focus on the spurts of creative pleasure and not perfection. The result will be amazing in the end. I absolutely love what I did last December. I'm loving what I'm doing in this small album. And the idea is to enjoy yourself and have fun. So don't worry about the individual pages. Collectively, they will be absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, please. And if you haven't subscribed to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, we would be absolutely thrilled if you did. I hope you're having a fantastic summer, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.